are now listening to a Super Breakdown production. Follow us at The Super Breakdown on all social media. Thank you.
Slade, stop!
No, Robin. I won't stop. Not now, not ever. I am the thing that keeps you up at night. The evil that haunts every dark corner of your mind. I will never rest. And neither will you.
Welcome to the Super Breakdown, where we take your favorite heroes and villains, break them down, and open up a world of multiversal possibilities. With 2 words, 1 question, what if? And today, we're talking about the one, the only, the expert assassin himself, Deathstroke, the Terminator. I'm your host, Power Maximus, and I'm here with your other host, the one, the only, everyone's favorite demigod,
Lord Triage.
All right. Let's see. So right now, you got Deathstroke, the Terminator. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. Some people hate him. Kind of find out a lot of people actually hate this guy. And after digging in some research, and I absolutely see why. Oh man. So I never really knew too much about Deathstroke before this.
Really?
Seeing him in 03. Yeah. I mean, I knew how like strong of a staple, like a strong staple character he was in DC, as a villain or even sometimes as an anti-hero. But like I really didn't know like all his superpowers or his full backstory. We learned his backstory in Titans. But like I didn't do this deep of a research on him. So yeah, I really appreciate you bringing up doing Deathstroke next, because I really appreciate the information I learned on this guy. Like, so Triage, teach me about this guy, like as if I know nothing about him. Let's flip it a little bit. Let's show me it. Talk to me as if I've never even heard of this character before. All right?
Copy. All right, so Slade Wilson was a victim of a failed medical experiment. This dude snuck his way into the army at the age of 16 and enlisted, and wound up being such a proficient student in guerrilla warfare and unarmed tactics and swordsmanship that they nicknamed him the Terminator. Think about that for a second. That this guy was so lethal in the field, he got nicknamed the Terminator. So
he got into the military at 16?
Yeah. Snuck in and enlisted.
Okay. And at that age was still just like a sponge for all of this. I'm still stuck on 16.
Right?
So 16, he gets into the military, and now he's become just absolute, killing machine, known as the Terminator.
Right.
Okay.
And the Terminator thing's actually kind of funny because DC wound up dropping that a few years after his creation. We first see Slade in 1980 in the Teen Titans. Now, the original Terminator came out in 1984, so they kind of dropped the Terminator label so that way there was no confusion or no branding issues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually very rare for him to be called the Terminator. Only like the real 1%ers like you and me would actually know that actual nickname.
The real limited editions.
Whole fact. So while Slade is in the military, he winds up catching the eye of a lot of his superiors. And he actually winds up falling for his CO, Adeline Kane, and he actually winds up marrying her.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very complicated relationship, which we'll get into a bit later. But one of the things that happens, because Slade is such a proficient fighter, he gets picked for this program that was low-key trying to create super soldiers. Now, the version of this story varies from different media, from Titans to Arrow, so it really depends on which version you're watching. But it was supposed to be that they were trying to create super soldiers, and by supercharging his adrenaline glands, which actually worked. You know how they say a person only uses 10% of their potential?
Yeah.
Slade can use 90.
Excuse me?
Yes. He has access to 90% of that potential. Like, he literally thinks 9 times faster than the average person.
That's terrifying.
Right?
And he's an expert marksman, an expert assassin. That is terrifying. And it's like an automated sponge for like anything he's taught.
Right?
Like, some of the things that I found out about this guy is like, first off, I remember you telling me that this guy had a healing factor. I didn't believe you until I started reading this, and I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense because your adrenal glands pumping that adrenaline, forcing you to heal faster, become stronger, see faster. So it's as if he's like on a constant adrenaline rush.
Right.
Like he's enhanced intelligence, enhanced reflexes, strength, stamina, speed, senses, enhanced immunities. Some people even say that he could even be, immortal, which I don't know about that. We haven't cut his head.
I don't know about that one either.
Mm-hmm.
What was it he said in Spawn? Everyone, the dead can still die. Schmucky, all I gotta do is take off your head. So,
you brought
we're not sure yet. Right?
He's the master martial artist, like an expert marksman, all different types of weaponry, expert computer hacker. The man is an expert computer hacker. Like, and he knows multiple different languages. Like, and all this, and this man can get paid to come after you.
Right?
That is terrifying. All it takes is a right price, and you'll be dead before you even know that you're dead.
It's a whole fact.
That's terrifying.
Now he's got his moral compass, and at times it swings this way or that way. Because as we said before, he sometimes is an anti-hero, sometimes he's a villain. Honestly, I prefer the more villain incarnation of the character, because to see someone who's this lethal, this proficient, it's almost like what if Captain America really was the bad guy, right?
Hell Hydra.
Hell Hydra, yes. So we've seen little glimpses of him in different types of media, from Teen Titans to Arrow, and I actually loved Manu Bennett when he was playing him on Arrow. I thought he did a phenomenal job.
Man, absolutely, it was great.
Absolutely, he the lesson I took from him playing Slade Wilson was to always be mindful of who you label your friend and who you betray. Because when I tell you this man went on a whole vendetta against Oliver Queen, listen.
Literally. Spoiler alert, if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't watched Arrow, I don't know why you haven't watched Arrow. You're missing out. Everything that happens after he gets off of the island it's just all Slade. And you never know until later on in the show.
Right.
Until when Slade comes back as a full-on actual villain.
I keep my promises.
Yeah. You ever see a show where a man hates another man so much he slowly kills his mother in front of him?
Destroys his reputation. Takes everything from him.
Yeah, literally. I really honestly feel like Slade was a downfall. Was like the point where Arrow and Oliver Queen just started going downhill. And shit just continuously got worse for him at that point, after that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like you said, you see him in 2003 Teen Titans, the the best Teen Titans, as playing Slade Wilson. We see an adaptation of his vendetta with Dick Grayson starting.
Yes.
With Dick Grayson becoming Red X for a little while there, and then that whole thing, and then downfall of Terra.
Yeah. So let's jump back into the comic book aspect of that real quick. So basically, what happened was after his experiment was deemed a failure, and I'm doing failure with my air quotations, because Slade actually never let no one know how well this worked on him. The only person that he wound up letting know was his partner and his boy, Billy Wintergreen. Billy Wintergreen's another one who's a whole savage. Billy Wintergreen's sort of like the Alfred to his Batman.
Oh, really? I didn't stumble across him in my research.
Yeah. Nah, Billy Wintergreen's a whole goon. So basically what happened was when Slade's experiment was deemed a failure, he basically retired from the military and went to settle down with his wife, Adeline Kane. And they wound up having 2 children. Now, they had a child before he was experimented on, his son Grant. Now, his son Joseph actually has the exact same abilities as him because it was after he was experimented on. But Joseph's abilities didn't rear until after the fact. So, excuse me.
And after what fact?
So basically what happened is that Slade created this alternate personality that he was calling Deathstroke. And as I quote, the Reaper can swing his sickle my way all he wants, but I'm beyond Deathstroke. Basically stating that he was unkillable. So basically, like if you wanted to get a hold of Deathstroke, you had to go through Billy Wintergreen.
Oh, he was kind of like his handler in a way.
Basically.
Oh, okay. Now,
right?
If I remember correctly, within that, he ends up getting contacted by the Brotherhood.
Hive, yes.
Hive. He was contracted by Hive initially to do a mission for them. And my bad. This is actually after. This is going towards when he ended up having to go against Grant. When he went toe to toe against Grant. And then Grant ends up dying in the midst of the mission that they were on. And so, in tribute to his son, Slade vows to continue his son's mission and actually work for Hive. Because originally he turned down the mission, and then they turned around and went to his son in turn.
Which was dirty, super dirty.
Yeah, because he knew full well that he wasn't just gonna let his son go on like a suicide mission on his own. So they were getting 2 Deathstrokes for the price of 1, essentially.
Basically, and the mission that Grant, calling himself the Ravager, they wanted him to take out the Teen Titans. Now, I understand that people think of these guys as sidekicks, but let's run down this list real quick. So you've got Dick Grayson, the original Robin, who's Batman's number 1 protege, who there is going to be an issue. Right there. Mm-hmm. You got Starfire,
who's a
Raven,
whole alien.
Right?
Raven, a whole demon spawn.
Cyborg,
who's a whole ghoul in himself.
Right, the prodigy of the Mother Box, Beast Boy, Wonder Girl, and Kid Flash.
A whole savage. Wonder Girl, who is also the prodigy of one woman, one of the strongest Themyscirans.
Right? So, right there, you have literally like damn near an all-star team. The only person who's actually missing from this incarnation of the team is Superboy. He winds up joining later. He's my favorite Teen Titan. I'm just throwing it out there. But Grant basically got sent to kill these cats and failed miserably and wound up dying in the process. So Slade, like as you said, in his grief, takes on the mission, and he takes this vendetta with them to a whole nother level. And as a testament of his skill, he came very close to killing several of them. He shot Kid Flash in the knee while he was running at super speed.
What?
Yes. He put a 12-gauge slug in his knee while he was running.
As in,
you ain't never heard?
Is this Wally West Kid Flash?
Nah, but this was Bart Allen, if memory serves me correctly.
Oh, Impulse.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I was gonna say, I was like, oh man, that's crazy, but now, because if you put them in a row, Barry's the fastest, then Wally, and then Impulse is slower than Wally.
Right.
So I can see that. I was about to say, if it was Wally West, now that's a feat.
But even then, he shot a speedster in the knee running at super speed. You ain't never heard about that in the history, never?
Nope. I never. Like, we've seen him slip and slide, but no. My man's his kneecaps got shot out from underneath him at top speed. Imagine the car wreck on that one.
Right?
Jeez, if that happened in Young Justice today, we'd see Bart Allen's skid mark of blood. Right.
And so like this gave him like a very big vendetta with him. And it's funny because like, you know, he's talked about in different rogues galleries, like he's been compared a lot of times to like being like the negative version of Batman. And then it's like he has like his beef with the Green Arrow, but it's like he's often really labeled as an enemy of Dick Grayson's. And I find that very interesting because like,
he's an arch nemesis. Everything
right?
that I've seen is always labeled as an arch nemesis. So it's not even just on a villain level. It's like an arch nemesis, like straight hardcore beef, like on site type shit.
Right. So then like when this whole thing happened, it's like, you know, they kind of had to he really had to hunker down and try to get shit settled. But now he had to explain to his wife what had just happened to their son. And
not even that. At that point, that's their second son that he has had something happen to.
Yes, because
the situation with Joseph came before this with Grant.
You're right.
Because the situation with Joseph actually is what revealed him being Deathstroke to his wife.
You're right.
Because a bunch of mercs and assassins came after him, kidnapped Joseph. Because at that time, Deathstroke, he was kind of like moonlighting as like one of the greatest hunters after the military. But
correct.
On the side, that was a cover up for all the ruthless shit that he was doing on the back end.
Correct.
So they were like, all right, well, they wanted him, so there's like either it's you or your son. So he's sitting there while so him and his wife, they jet out to go fight these dudes and rescue their son. Mm-hmm. Now they end up in a predicament. It's like, all right, well, either we kill your son, or like they gave him an ultimatum. Slade thinking, he's like, all right, no, I got this. I'm gonna be able to save my son before they end up doing what they're doing. He was wrong. They end up slitting Joe's throat, not killing him, but in turn, like gravely injuring him to the point where he's mute.
Yeah, he couldn't speak again.
Yep. And now we all know Slade Wilson. We see him with the eye patch on, Nick Fury looking, MF. But what not a lot of people understand is how he lost his eye.
Yeah.
And this is how he lost his eye. During this situation, after that whole shit happened, after they slit Joseph's throat, and he actually sat down and explains everything to his wife, she shoots him in the eye.
Yeah, they talk about women in a woman's scorn and a woman's wrath, but she didn't think, she didn't pause, she went, pulled out the hammer, slammed back around, and tried to blow his head off. And here's the wild part. Now, this is a credit to the scaling factor. He does lose the eye because the eye is gone. It's there. It's not there. But he does survive it. And it's not like she shot him with no 22. She tried to blow his head off with a blicky. She pulled the hammer, the hand cannon.
He annihilated. She literally was coming for that mother's head.
Right.
She wanted his head. So he ends up losing his eye.
Right. And here's the wild part. It doesn't slow him down any. By no means. He got a whole blind spot.
Eye patch on it. All he did was, and even on his mask, all he did was just take the one eye hole out. He wanted to look crazy with an eye patch over an eye hole on a mask.
Right.
Like, ever since then, he's been running like a whole remorse thing and everything like that. So like now his wife, like, and we see this in Titans. And I love seeing how they played that out in Titans. I love that so much. And actually makes you feel bad for the character of Slade, even after all the shit that you've seen him do in the show. It actually makes you like, oh, that's why. I get it now.
Right. And the thing with the Titans was, in the comics, he came after them because he was contracted and paid to. Like in the show, it was a total misfire. It was a complete accident. They wound up on his radar on a whole nother, in the middle of a mission. So because they actually wound up going after him.
Put a hole through Aqualad's chest.
Yeah.
Accidentally, because he was actually trying to kill the Queen of Themyscira.
Yes, and I'm also a little confused at how he did that, considering like we found out on multiple occasions that Atlanteans have extremely dense skin, but I'll not go along with it.
No. They go into that. It was a special round. Because the same thing goes with Themyscirans. Themyscirans have all super dense skin as well. So it was a special bullet modified armor, like it was like some kind of like hyper armor piercing round that was supposed to be able to break through, because you know that they're blocking. It was supposed to break through the bracelets too.
Right.
They're gonna block. So yeah, well, they actually explained it was like an actual like super round. Talk about hand cannon.
That's a whole fact. My man don't have stuff on nothing.
Yeah, so now they're thinking this whole time that it's personal. So they're taking this whole thing personal. Come to find out, it was a whole accident, and in doing so, they tried to like turn his son against him, Joe, against him, and in turn actually ended up. He ends up having Slade accidentally kill his own son. Right.
And then, because in this version, Joseph had an ability to possess people, he winds up possessing his own father. So part of his consciousness winds up inside of his body. So not only does he have to live with the fact he killed his son, he has to live with his son's consciousness inside of him. So that's doubly fucked up.
Well, here's the thing, though. Even before that, though, his son was possessing someone else. Right? Or is that what happened? Or was it?
Nah, if memory serves me correctly, he tried to step in between them, and he wound up gutting them. Because it's one of them things like where no one knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah, and then in that moment he ends up leaving his own body.
Yeah.
And ends up possessing someone. I think he does. Yeah, I think he does end up possessing his father, and his father never knew. And I forget how he ends up finding out what happened.
Right? I can't remember if he did or didn't. But that incarnation,
he then ends up accepting his son. Like, go ahead, you can possess me and take over my body. You know, we can be together and stuff like that.
right?
Still trying. I'm trying to remember it. Yeah, that was like season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't against that, but that wasn't like my favorite incarnation of the character. Like I said, I'm still a big fan of the whole Manu Bennett thing and the way he handled it. Like I thought he did great.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then, on top of that, we've seen him we've seen him in the Injustice video games. He actually is a part of the Injustice squad. Like this guy, he's everywhere. And that's what I'm saying. I feel bad that I didn't know too much more about him before doing my research.
Right.
Like this guy, he is a problem. Not to mention he's in Young Justice too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's also in Young Justice, but we also see him as
he was a Lights Enforcer.
They actually play out the whole Terra situation with Geoforce and all that as well, isn't it? And Terra being a spy for him. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm glad they toned that down somewhat because, like, in past incarnations of that, it's implied that they're in a relationship, and that's a little inappropriate. Because, like, this man's going to be her grandfather.
Yeah, because even then, if you look at it, it's like they used to portray it as kind of like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. Like,
yeah. Like if you watch the Teen Titans movie, the animated one, the Judas Contract, and then watch that scene where she walks into like the control room with him, that shit was creepy.
Yeah. Man, I'm not. That's what had me kind of like, what's really going on here?
Well, I think it was just one of the things where he was just being that master tactician and just using her as a means to an end, which she was.
Yeah. And it almost works. Almost worked.
I mean, as far as animation goes, and video games, we've seen live action depictions of him. Now, here's another thing. We already found out that fucking Joe Manganiello's playing him in the DCEU, but we haven't actually seen him cut loose yet. So I'm waiting for that to happen.
All we see is him at the end of Batman v Superman?
No, it's at the end of Justice League. He's on the boat with Lex Luthor.
Oh, well, Lex Jr.
Yeah, excuse me. And he gets contracted to go after Batman.
Yeah.
Now, because there was they were in talks about talking about a Batman movie with Ben Affleck as the lead, and from what I took from that, it was supposed to be like him having to deal with Deathstroke trying to target him. Because that I would have loved to have seen that.
Because it was honestly, because that was supposed to be the last Batman movie that just came out. It was supposed to be a full noir movie.
Yeah,
because that's what Ben Affleck wanted. He was like, and that's actually how they got him on to even play Batman. Because he was like, all right, I'll do Batman, but that's how they got him to come back to play Batman. Because originally that's what they wanted. He was like, all right, listen, I'll be Batman, but I want to actually make my own Batman movie with this character. I would like the next standalone Batman movie. I want it to be a noir, and I want to write it and shoot it like a noir, and get more in on the detective side of Batman instead of all we've ever seen was the action side of it.
Right.
And that's when things end up falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
We started to see a lot of the hatred that Batfleck started to get, so they end up pulling him from the project.
And all that did was hurt up.
He was like, I'm done.
But we've seen noir films work. Like, I love the Sin City films. Say what you want about them. I thought they were great.
Yeah, me too.
I had the books. I thought they were phenomenal. And I mean, the spirit was okay. I think it could have been done better. It could have been done a lot better. But it's one of those things like where it was just one of the things that like there wasn't enough mainstream backing behind it. Like people didn't know who the spirit was, so they were like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, and I would love to see, a Deathstroke versus Batman noir scenario.
Right.
I haven't watched the new Batman movie just yet, but I plan on watching it as soon as I can. And I'm probably going to watch it when we're done with this. But like, I would have loved to see like that dynamic that's between, Riddler and Batman, that like who's who, what's going on kind of scenario going on with Deathstroke. All of a sudden, Bruce Wayne starts getting attacked out of nowhere, assassination attempts, this and that, and now he has to go on a whole like detective mission to try to figure out who's trying to take him out and why. Excuse me. And lo and behold, it's Deathstroke, and when you see that whole dynamic between them ducking and dodging each other,
right? Well, it'd have been interesting because, like, the Riddler's matching him mentally while Deathstroke matching him physically. Yeah, so that would have been interesting. I agree.
So it's just like it hurts a little bit to not have gotten to see this Deathstroke that was supposed to be in the DCU, not really get to see him work. That really sucked for me because I was excited. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like they muffed up on his hair a little bit. Like, it looked like it was freshly dyed white and was like really stiff, and like his hair didn't look real for the character.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was older with white hair, with grayed hair, like seasoned hair.
It looked like he was the young guy who had a dye job.
Exactly, and it bothered me. I was like, I was good with with the mask on. But as soon as he took his mask off, I was like, oh no, what are you doing? Oh no. Because I would have loved to see like an older, grittier looking Slade Wilson, like what we got in Arrow or like what we got in Titans.
Right.
He was older, seasoned, gruff. This guy's origins takes place in Vietnam, in the Vietnam War, and that was years ago.
And with the healing factor, they could have had it so it's like it slowed the process. Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of ways they could have made this work, and it's just like I feel like that they just basically dropped the ball with his character. Shit, they could give him his own trilogy, and I think it would do great.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because we've already seen them do incarnations of his children in the shows. In Titans, we had Rose and Joseph, and then in Arrow, we see Rose again, and we see Grant as well,
and Joseph.
Oh yeah, because of that whole when they go to the future kind of thing. And it's Joseph who is Ravenger, and he runs a whole squad of a whole like syndicate essentially of Deathstroke.
Basically, yeah, it's something real different. They actually kind of put like a funny pun on it, because it's like how in the comics, it was supposed to be that a character by the name of Deathstroke had crossed a character by the name of the Jackal. So the Jackal approached him like, yo, this, that, and the third. So it's like in the Arrow show, his son Joseph was actually in charge of a group called the Jackals.
Yep.
So I thought that was an interesting little
of the Jackals. Yeah,
I thought that was a little interesting play on the history and the comic book lore. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that's what I loved about. That's what I loved about Arrow and them introducing Deathstroke, because like they gave just so much of a unique origin story for him, because we see the origin of they do it differently too. It's not like he was already an expert, like Black Ops Special Forces, soldier, but then he comes in contact with this merc, this essentially super soldier serum. Like it's the same premise but different setting. So instead of him being experimented on while he's in the military, he ends up getting experimented on after the military.
Right. And the thing with the Mirakuru was is that they said that it affected everybody differently. Like if it didn't affect you physically, it affected you mentally. And it's like how it made you question your stability, it made you question your sanity, your surroundings. So it's like you see like little cracks in his stability, which healed over time. And he's quoted saying a few times, like, the Mirakuru isn't what made me hate you. This isn't what's going on. It's what you did and how you betrayed me. So it's like just to see that dynamic, and then like also like the skill sets, because one of the people who does train Oliver the Green Arrow in that show is Slade Wilson, because they were stuck on the island together. So like watching that whole, student master, big brother, little brother, rival, arch enemy dynamic grow and blossom, it was really cool to me.
Yeah, I definitely second that, because and we actually see that character of Slade actually cared. He actually cared about Oliver and saw him as a brother. And so it's not too difficult, not too hard to see where he would see that betrayal, because he thought it was as if Oliver left him for dead. If I remember correctly, it was a whole misunderstanding. Oliver never actually really betrayed him. There was the explosion. Oliver thought he was dead, and so Oliver skated up off the island. He ended up getting himself up off the island, thinking Slade was dead the whole time. Slade was under the understanding that he had just dipped on him and left him for dead. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was between that. It was between that and the fact that the whole situation with Shadow, the chick who was on the island with them.
Oh yeah. Oliver was falling in love with her, but at the same time, Slade was falling in love with her too, and then ended up getting her killed. And that's why he ends up executing his mom the same exact way that she was
right.
So he's like, I'm gonna show you what it feels like to lose someone you love in front of your very eyes.
Yeah.
Have your loved one's life be held in someone else's hands. Then they let it go. That shit. Yeah, that was
Nah, Slade ice cold, man. Slade ice cold.
Ice cold. Like, and again, I would definitely see it. That's why I like how they also flushed that like all the way out. They didn't leave anything left over and hanging on the edge of that storyline. They played that storyline out to its fullest, all the way from Slade, all the way to we end up seeing Rose later on. She ends up attacking the entire Star City with her own version of the Deathstrokes or Jackals under her own command with him, and then they just really like. They flushed everything they could out of that character in that series, and I absolutely appreciate it so much. I feel like it wasn't done cheesily either.
Right.
They put the time in to make sure that the story actually made sense,
which is something I always appreciate. I love a good story.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when there's a good story and it's actually done right. Because we've seen many a time somebody like have a good story, but just not a good idea or a good premise, and just not like peak it and just not like bring it out to its full potential. We've seen that so many times, and it was just nice to see this, and that's why I feel like Titans did a good job of that in a shorter period of time. Because Titans is only a few episodes, as opposed to Arrow being a whole like 23, 24 episode season. They did that decently in that. And so I would have really liked them. I mean, this is the one thing that we all feel with DC. They just need to bring their TV actors to the big screen.
But you want to know what the funny thing about that is in hindsight? It's like, because if we're really gonna compare apples to oranges, DC mops the floor with Marvel with everything but the movies.
This is true. This is very, very true. Whether it be animated, because their animated universe is absolutely bonkers. Like, if you really want to see some good Slade Wilson work, definitely look to the animated movies. Judas Contract,
right?
The Teen Titan movies, like really look at those, and especially like Young Justice and stuff like that. Really, really look at their animated stuff, and you will get a great sense of who Deathstroke and Slade Wilson really is. I'm sorry, I'll be honest with you. I almost said Wade Wilson.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. So that was
let's talk about that real quick.
All right.
So we're talking about how DC actually mops Marvel in every other way. They were mopping him so hard with this character that Marvel had to retaliate and literally steal the character.
Yes, they actually proposed a character who was similar in outfit, style, lifestyle, costume. The only thing that backstory said the only thing that was different was the fact that while Slade Wilson is very serious, their character never shut up. So as a joke, when it got pitched, someone actually went, dude, this guy is Slade Wilson in a different costume. This isn't gonna work. So they named him Wade Wilson as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then lo and behold, fast forward a few years, Deadpool is a staple of the Marvel universe.
Yep. While we have Slade Wilson still, unfortunately, taking the back seat in DC.
Yeah.
Like, they literally couldn't be... Like, literally, the only thing that would make them more similar... 2 changes. All you gotta do is make 2 changes between these 2 characters. Change the costume color and change it, make us Deadpool more serious.
Right? Who are you taking in a fight?
Ooh, I'm taking Slade.
I'm taking Slade too.
Yeah.
The only
he's
thing
not gonna kill him. He's not gonna kill Deadpool, but he's definitely gonna cut off both arms, both legs, and cut him in half.
Right.
And
they're
just leave him there.
They're definitely going to test the extent of their healing abilities in this fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's the thing, we've never seen Slade regrow appendages.
Right. We've seen him recovering from knife wounds and bullet wounds and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if he's growing back a hand.
Yeah, or a whole lower half.
Right.
Like which we've seen Deadpool do.
Yeah.
I doubt if his head gets cut off, he's gonna still be able to talk.
Well, he did get a grenade shoved in his mouth once, and we did see it grow back.
Yeah. So I'm definitely taking Slade in that fight.
Right.
Like this character is out of this world, man. Just like his whole backstory.
The thing also I like to point out with Deathstroke is when it comes to his just hand-to-hand skill, like as we talk about Deadpool and the merc with the mouth and everything he can do, yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's more of a carnage character. He's more of a just destruction and mayhem and this, that, and the third. But like, yeah. Deadpool is just like he's just carnage. Like opposed to Deathstroke. Deathstroke is just like more. Watching Deathstroke fight would be like watching Ip Man. It's precise.
Yes, it's precise. He has precision with it. Deadpool literally wrecked an entire freeway just to get one person.
Like no one's getting hurt.
Like
that guy was literally there when I got here.
He was just hanging upside down, half his body ripped off when I got here. It wasn't me, I swear to God.
Right.
Oh, would you look at the time? No, but with Slade, with Deathstroke, it is precise. The person that needs to die is the person that's gonna die.
Right.
You're not
every now and again you got 1 or 2 people that are collateral damage. Well, other than that, but another thing that I thought was interesting is like when we were talking about the animated universe and how that ties together, because I actually went back and watched a few of those recently. I did not know that he was in the lines to take over the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul saw him as a potential protege. He was pissed when he was considering Batman.
Yeah, because if you look at it, he wanted Talia to marry him because how of a proficient killer he was. He like how badass you have to be for the leader of the League of Assassins, the Dragon's head himself.
Demon's head.
The Demon's head. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Demon's head. I was saying, who the hell was I thinking of? I was thinking of someone else. But yeah, the Demon's head itself. The Master Assassin sees you. Says that his entire organization can take notes from you. Bro, that's nuts.
Right?
You have to, you are that good where the Master of all Assassins says, you know what? We can benefit from learning a little bit or a thing or two from you.
Right?
That's nuts.
And to my knowledge, the only other people who have ever been in the running to replace Ra's al Ghul are Batman and Bane.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Bane. Yeah.
And we'll be doing an episode about him sooner or later, too, people.
Oh, yeah. And we were definitely going to talk about which Batman was it? Was it Clooney or was it Kilmer?
Listen, we don't acknowledge. We don't acknowledge.
No.
We don't acknowledge George Clooney's Batman. There's a whole lot wrong with Bat Nipples. But anywho,
they're talking about fucking Bat Nipples. But even the Batman Forever.
Oh God.
Yeah, Poison Ivy, Bane, Mr. Freeze.
That was Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. Yeah, Batman Forever was
Kilmer.
Yeah, it was Kilmer.
Oh
That's
God.
We see Two-Face and Riddler. And we get Robin saying a classic Batman line. Holy metal rocks, Batman. Don't ever say that again.
Oh, listen, I don't care what no one says. Chris O'Donnell stealing the Batmobile is still some of the most gangster shit I've ever seen in a movie.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I thought he was a great Robin.
Well, I mean, that's also up for debate because it's like, you know who he wanted originally to play Robin?
Oh.
You'll never guess.
Who?
I'll give you one hint. It was a comedian and he's black.
Eddie Griffin?
Nope.
Dave Chappelle?
No.
Cedric the Entertainer?
It was Marlon Wayans. They wanted Marlon Wayans to be Robin.
In that Batman movie.
And yes, and Batman Forever, it was supposed to be Marlon Wayans. I don't know what happened to the point where that didn't happen, but that was originally the first pick from what I remember being told.
Bro, I gotta look into that. Whoa! You just blew my whole mind with that one. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Because the thing about that whole series and the way it was going, and this is why one of the reasons why the Batman kept changing, because there was stuff changing with the script. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
Getting back to Slade.
Back to Slade. He's an absolute. We talk about goons here. This man is a goon,
right?
And the whole I want to jump back to this whole rivalry with Nightwing, with Dick Grayson. Bro, it gets nuts. Like, I'm talking like petty levels of nuts. He ends up So it all starts when Dick Grayson ends up going undercover, working for Slade, which we can see along the lines. We can see a little adaptation of that in the 03 tie-ins when he becomes Red X. But
Right.
apparently they end up having a run-in with Superman and Superman and it was just Superman, and he ends up getting found out that he's been Nightwing the whole time, and he actually had him training his daughter Rose. Come to find out, Dick was actually training his daughter in the ways to be a superhero, and not like a merc. So instead of going hard and just murking everyone out, they end up making a deal. Nightwing's like, all right, listen, I'll stay away from Rose. I'll stop teaching her superhero ways as long as you keep all metahuman villains out of Bloodhaven. 34 hours later, Slade drops a nuke on top of Bloodhaven.
Oh shit.
Well, he drops Chemo, which is the radioactive villain.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Did he pull on push him out of a bomber plane and everything?
I don't know, but it seems like it. The way they worded it is that it was Slade and a bunch of other Titans and Doom Patrol villains, along with the Brotherhood of Evil, like the Brain and all them, and they dropped him on Bloodhaven, killing thousands of people. And the only explanation that he gives to the Brotherhood is that he needs Nightwing to believe that he can never go home again. That's it. And then from then on, Nightwing has had it absolutely out for his head. Like, going as far as busting into his own hideout, busting into Deathstroke's hideout, just to cuss him out and to leave a note letting him know, like, yo, I'm coming for you. It's over. It's over for you. There's no, you dropped the bomb on Bloodhaven. You completely broke, what we got. I'm gonna pay. You're gonna get payback. I'm gonna get you. And ever since then, it's an on-site situation. Like, I'm just, like, that's wild. How you do a man's that dirty? Yeah, no problem. All right, deal.
Shit, in the fucking Suicide Squad movie, Hell to Pay, he broke into Bronze Tiger's house and killed his wife.
Right? Right? Almost forgot about that movie. Right.
That's another fight. I'd like to see is Bronze Tiger versus Deathstroke. And Bronze Tiger is another character we'll touch on at a later point in time. My son Ben Turner. But the most recent incarnation of Deathstroke, he's actually a member of the Suicide Squad in recent years. Now that's something I'd really like to see. Because if we get like a legitimate squad, or as we call them, the shooters, like say, like for example, say we got Will Smith playing Deadshot. We got Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Then we get the Joe Manganiello we should get. We get him playing Deathstroke. If we get like the legitimate shooters on our team, like I could see this shit turn into a whole bloodbath.
Oh, absolutely. But I'll be honest, I actually like the Deathshot that they liked in that they had in Arrow.
I did too.
I actually liked him, so I'd be okay with seeing him as well. But like that would be dope. Like, I don't know, it's just I mean, it sucks because we know full well that DC is not gonna do anything like productive with this character because they've absolutely completely completely wiped out the Snyderverse. So it's gonna be hard to really see anything from be done with him, because they just we see him in video games, we're gonna see him in the animated, but we're not gonna see anything like actually live action. It sucks because as we all know, DC doesn't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to live action, which is not. I don't understand how you were literally the creators of the source material. Like, it's not like Marvel and Sony. It's not like Spider-Man with Sony, where like Marvel has to sit there and watch Sony just shoot a character down the drain.
Oh God.
No, like like
my son Power will never beat around the bush.
Rights. Like, and I say that because like I just learned a whole bunch of stuff about, because I haven't seen Morbius yet, and I just learned a whole bunch of stuff about Morbius, and it's got me tight. So yeah, I just feel like then we need to see more Deathstroke, man. So you would like to see a shooter squad.
Absolutely.
So you would like the Joe, how do you say his name? Joe
The Magnello.
The Magnello. Yeah, I'd be interested in that, as long as they don't do the white hair thing again. That'd be nice. And me, I want to see a toe-to-toe Batman movie.
Absolutely.
Deathstroke go to toe-to-toe with Batman. That's what I like to see. Wishful thinking, but it's something. And right there, we'll wrap it up with that. Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, absolute savage goon of a character.
The Terminator.
The original Terminator.
The original Terminator.
So I'm just saying, Deathstroke came first, and then Arnie took it after, but Deathstroke was first. Man, with a wild backstory and even wilder abilities, man. So there you have it. We're gonna call it on that one, guys. Thank you for taking a look and see what we got going on this week. Pay attention next week. We're gonna have a special guest on next week. Well, for the next episode, Dr. Doom. Gonna have a special guest coming on, talking to us about Doom, giving us a little more information. Definitely please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Stay tuned for the limited edition live talk show where we get to really interact with you guys, and you guys to interact with us, and we literally just sit there and talk about anything. We'll be posting that up. Keep an eye out. Thank you. Remember, check us out next week for when we break down Dr. Doom. Peace.